I think food is beautiful, and I like to present it au naturel. So you'll never see me carve this beautiful radish grown at a local farm here into a bird or monkey or something, or Mickey Mouse. Going back to my risotto pot over there, you guys just saw the radishes and carrots together at last. I'm going to work up the stone fruit here in a sec. I don't think I'll quite get them mixed just yet. Oh, yeah. I'm going to hit that with a little more broth. Stock, I should say. Just one. Stir it in. Nothing sticking on the bottom. Work that rice. Work it together. Get that starch going in there. Beautiful. All right. So back to my little salad here. So there are my radishes and carrots. They look very natural and beautiful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to splash a little bit of rice vinegar and honey together on these guys. And I'm also going to add a little bit of salt. And these guys are going to start marinating together. So I probably am putting in about 2 tablespoons of vinegar there, rice vinegar. It's a pretty mild vinegar that I use for a lot of applications. It's fairly neutral in flavor. It's not super strong like that really harsh distilled vinegar. Oh, look at this. Guys, I found one more radish. Look at that. We scored. Let's get a little more radish in there. Score. Nice. I wanted that. I was sad I didn't have enough radishes, you know? I get like that. Okay, so I'm going to drop in a touch of honey. Let me just get the last little bit out of this. I want like a teaspoon of this. And that's about what I got out of there, was about a teaspoon, maybe 2. Okay, just a little sweetness. I'm going to add a little salt as well. So vinegar, honey, and salt on those guys. And I'm just going to give it a little toss. And they're going to start marinating, macerating, gingivating, whatever you want to call it, okay? I don't even know what that last word is. I'm going to stir my pot. I'm making up new words here and everything. And that risotto is still cruising along. Sorry, guys. I'm one step behind with my camera work. But the risotto, you can call it that if you want. It's still cruising along. And I'm going to work another ladleful into it. And I'll go back to my salad. I've got my stone fruit I want to work into it. But let me give it another little toss. I'm cleaning up the side of my bowl there, or my pan. And so let me give this one more little toss. And I'm going to start working a little bit of nectarine in it as well. So here's the nectarine that I got. I'm going to double check and or double wash this guy. I washed my cherries, but I'm going to wash this guy again. And then I'm going to set them down on my board. And if I got to do a case of these things, usually I'm just kind of cutting around the pit. Now, these guys, this is one of those cling pits, so it really, really holds onto the peach. So when I'm in those situations, I just kind of try and cut around the pit on 2 sides, on opposite sides, so I get those clean pieces. And then I do one of these numbers, and I might just like nibble that last little piece, or I might work it into a salad. Since this is a salad, any little chunks, I could kind of work them on in, okay? And I don't think too many people are going to see those little pieces later on. And there's the pit inside that. And I'm going to go ahead and I want to chunk these up into similar shapes and sizes. So everything kind of matches, okay? So that's what you're going to see me do. I'm just going to kind of go long ways here. Cut the big ones into chunks. And they're all in pieces about the same size now. There are the 2 sides, the extra sides that I cut off. So they're all in about the same size. And I'm just going to chunk them up to fit the rest of those vegetables. Now, this nectarine is not super ripe, so it's not going to be like this soft nectarine going on in with these hard vegetables. It's kind of chunky too. So again, I'm treating it almost like a vegetable here. It's going into a salad. And so I just made, again, odd chunky shapes that fit in with the rest of those sizes, okay? I'm gonna give that a toss. It's kind of rustic looking. And here's all the little odd pieces too. Give that a toss. Boom, boom, boom. And again, we're making just a little side for our dish tonight. Yeah, excellent. I have some nice acidity there, but it's not overly powerful because of that tiny, tiny little shot of honey in there. It was enough to kind of counteract that. So right now, it's sitting there with just a little bit of vinegar. I put a little pinch of salt in there and a tiny pinch of honey. There's one more ingredient I want to drop into it. It can kind of fit in for Northern Africa kind of flavors because that's what our lamb is kind of like here. It can fit in with the Northern African because we're using olive oil. I'm going to use a little drop of extra virgin olive oil in this. I tend to get this biryani. I've been buying it for years. They have it at the farmer's market over here by my house, and I tend to pick it up, and I've been using it for years. It's good stuff. Now, when I'm making a salsa or a salad or something like that, if there's no fat in there, the flavors don't pop. So I just tasted this, and it's like, yeah, the seasonings are pretty good. It's popping. My acid's pretty good. But I'm going to add just a drop or two of oil and try it again. One other thing I want to add, I forgot. My little cayenne pepper. I'm going to put a tiny pinch of cayenne in here. And there's one more fruit to go in as well. So tiny pinch of cayenne. I forgot. Now I'm tossing it. So now I got a little background there. Not so much spice that it's spicy, but enough to open up your palate. Try that again. That's a little more of what I'm talking about. The oil carries the flavor to your palate. It's like, sorry, before I added that oil, it's like the flavor was knocking on the door of my palate. And then I added that oil and it was like the flavor was invited on to my tongue. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's what we're talking about here. It's a good looking salad. I got some pretty good colors going on in there. Okay. Just for the beginnings. And I'm going to set my oil aside. I'm going to take another look at my risotto, and we'll go back to our salad. It's almost done. Going back to the risotto, I'm looking like I've got more of a consistent color on these guys. The bones have gone away. I am not sure how you can see them if you're not right here in the room with me, but when they are more like one translucent color, that is when I go in to start tasting. Boy, I'm really in there now. That's when I'll go in and start tasting, okay? Before I see the, if I still see the skeleton, I'm not even going to bother tasting because I know it's going to just stick to my teeth. It's not even close. I'm wondering if this is even there yet. We got to probably work a little more liquid into this. So I'm going to go in and just get a little taste. It's right there on the edge. It's super, super close. I'm going to start bringing this fellow home. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is shove it off to the side, and let's take a look at our roast that's going with this. We are super close with this. I've got our salad too. Let me finish that salad. Last ingredient here is going to be some cherries. Now, I cut some cherries in half earlier. I just added a bunch of cherries into it. I'm going to give them a little toss. And I wanted to show you how I did those cherries real quick. So I left 4 of them undone. So here's that. You can kind of see the salad a little bit. And here are 4 cherries. I think we're going to have to be right there. And what I did was I got a paring knife, and I just kind of rolled the cherry along the paring knife blade, okay? So I went all the way around it, and then I took off one side, and the other side's still in there. So I go through all of them and make the cut, and then I go through all of them and pull a side off, and then I go through all of them and get that pit out. Back up, maybe you can see a little better. So you see me kind of rolling them along the blade there. I think you really saw it that time. Now I get rid of half of it. That one's already gone. Half of it just pops right off sometimes. And then I go in with one of these, okay? One of your little melon ballers. I can get in there and get the other half of that pit out and drop them in. There they go. Kind of a hassle. They make cherry pitters. I do not own one. This is what you use. when you don't have a cherry pitter. So I wanted to show you that. These little melon ballers, I use them for all kinds of stuff in the kitchen. That's a nice little tool. Just doing a little cleanup, guys, for 1 sec, rinsing off my hands. I got another ingredient or two, actually, for this salad. That was my last fruit. I'm going to give it another little toss. Those flavors are going to start blending a little bit. The fruit juices will come out. I got that salt. I'm going to add a little bit of red onion to this as well. So I got some red onion, just half of one that I used in another class. It's looking a little funky. There are some weird pieces to this. I'm going to try and salvage as much as I can. So that's a little weird. And let me see here. Some of this is going to be weird. That's all good, but the rest of this is looking a little bit funky. Not so bad that I can't throw it in my stock pot, though. I don't like those super dark skins on this stuff, though, so I don't use that for stock. But the meat, the inside part of it, I can use for stock. Okay, so I just have a tiny bit of red onion to use up. It's quarantine kitchen. Sometimes that's what I got. And I'm going to just go straight across these guys and cut them into little juliennes. Blend them on into the salad. Yeah, I don't like these little pieces here. So just a tiny bit of red onion. I just had that little piece I wanted to use up. So it's in there. I'm going to go ahead and stir it around. And you can kind of see some colors. That's going to go with some greens before I serve it. But right now, I'm just going to let those sit there and macerate a little bit. I think I will add a little, drop more honey. Now that I just tasted it. I got a brand new honey here. I got to open this guy. Bad chef. Mise en place. I should have had that ready. Bad chef. I'm going to do about one more of those teaspoons in there. There we go. And that will kick around. That honey will melt into this stuff 2 times quick. Really fast. Rice vinegar, a little bit of honey, red onion. I have carrot. I have radish. I have cherry. I have nectarine. It's a cool looking salad. This is going to be awesome. All right. Next, I wanted to show you this roast. I'm going to kind of shred that up real quick, and then we are going to bring this risotto home, and I can put a plate together. We've only been into it for about an hour now, so we're looking pretty good. This is a short one. All right, so let me bring the roast on over. I'm going to turn off my heat, and we'll show you what I got. Now, this will look dry on top. I'm going to roll it around in there a little bit so it shine it up. Woo. So it looks more glorious, okay? Because this looks glorious. Let me show you what it looks like. It's going to seem a little dark to you, but what I did is I just put a dry rub on a roast, on a lamb shoulder roast. It looks just very dark, right? I put that roast up on top of a bunch of onions underneath there, and then I slow roasted this thing with that rub on there. I did a little initial sear on the roast, I should say, but I kept it covered while it was roasted, and I roasted it at a low temp. I probably did it about 300 degrees. And just over time, the juices came out. It got very, very moist in there. It kept kicking out more moisture, and it cooked those onions down to a dark, rich resin. And they're very dark because they have the spice on there from the roast and everything, too. I kept basting the roast. I would turn it from time to time, cover it, put it back into the oven, and then I just kept it going. I kept doing that until the thing is just ready to fall apart. There's still string on this. I got to get the string off of this. There's a couple of bay leaves I got to pull out of there, and I got to defat it. There's a little bit of fat in there, so I'm going to get a spoon and pull out some of that fat, and then this meat's going to just get shredded up. So let's take out the fat first. I'm going to pick up that roast and just set it on down. And I hope I can just pick it up in one piece. It wants to just fall. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. But there is a bunch of oil in there. Let me kind of show you that. You guys see that oil separation in there? I want to get that out. So what I'm going to do is just turn on a small flame down here. Start melting things a bit. And I'm going to get a spoon. I'll tell you what spoon I like is this one right here. I got kind of a medium-sized spoon that I like, okay? And I'm going to push the good stuff over to one side, and I'm going to let the fat roll over to the first side. And then I'm just going to scoop the fat out. And that fat, I'm just going to put that in my stock pot, I think, for now. That's what I'm putting it for now. When I do my stocks, often I'm harvesting fat off the surface of them as they cook. So I just defatted all of the onion matter in there, basically. Get it out. So it's just this cooked onion resin, basically, okay? There's a bay leaf. I had 2 bay leaves in there. There's the other. So I'm going to get both bay leaves out. And then there's 2 chunks of ginger in here. There's one. Deadly. And then there's another one right there. And that's all that's floating around in there. Okay? That's just cooked down onion and Moroccan spices and lamb juice. Okay? Next, let's take a look at this roast. Okay? It has several strings on it that are holding it together. And so I'm going to go ahead and get a pair of scissors and we're going to take those strings off. It is a very serious social faux pas to leave a string on a roast. So there's one. I think I had 5, if I'm not mistaken. There might be 6. I should have counted those. Bad chef. And you guys see what I'm doing there? I'm being very careful with these strings. By the way, there's a lot of flavor on those strings. I might even throw them in my stock pot. Look at that. So there's 5 right there. 5 strings. Meat's all sticking to it. That's the good stuff. When we were kids, my brother and sisters and I, we would fight over the string off of a roast. We would like chew on it, like, you know, suck all the flavor out of it or whatever. So whenever there was a roast at the house or whatever, yeah, we fought over that stuff. I don't know if any other kids did that. We sure did. A little bit more fat came out of this. Let me get rid of that. And now I'm going to take all of this string off. Make sure I get them all. There's a ton of flavor on that string. Let's throw that in there too. Why not? Is that bad? Am I a bad man? It's flavor. I have a philosophy. I never throw anything away that's got flavor on it. All right, and here's my last string. Slow roasted lamb shoulder. Kind of the upper arm of the lamb, if you will. Let me rinse fingers here. And now what I'm going to do is kick this back into the pot with those onions. And more fat kind of came out. I have a fire on this, so a little more fat is rendering out of it. So let me get that out. I don't really want the oil. This is going to be rich enough. There it goes. Okay, so in she goes, okay? I have got my little granny fork here. That's what they call those. And I'm just going to shred this guy up. Into those onions, those cooked, caramelized onions from that pot. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous, guys. This is going to be so good. I just tasted a tiny little piece. But look at that. I wanted you guys to see that just come apart. Literally just a couple of forks, and there she goes. I want to blend that with the onion mixture to really blend those flavors in there. I said in the beginning of this recipe that the onions would become one with the dish. So let me just do that, kind of push that around. I like those big chunks. This stuff is so rich and gelatinous that if I chilled it, it would all solidify into one giant piece of jello, lamb jello. Really, really rich stuff. And I'm really working in that onion that was underneath there. It's just gorgeous. I'm very happy. I'm going to cry. It's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Let me get one little taste here. That's a big taste. Wow. Wow. That's some pretty good stuff. That's some good lamb. Still working it all together. I like it. Unbelievable. Wow. That's a big flavor too. You know, you get a lamb chop, sometimes it almost tastes like you're eating beef, but you get a lamb shoulder, lamb leg, now you taste what lamb tastes like. It's that big lamby flavor. If you like lamb, shoulder is what you're going to love. I love how this all cooked down. Again, let's just look at that some more. It's just gorgeous, okay? Just gorgeous. And you saw how it just fell apart. It didn't take much coaxing. And there it is, okay? So I'm going to be serving that along with this risotto here. Let's get the risotto back in the mix. I just kind of put it off onto the side. I'm going to add another bit of stock to this, and we're going to bring it the rest of the way. I'm going to start checking it for seasoning and making sure nothing's sticking. And what I'm looking for here is, again, an al dente, okay? Some people like this fairly al dente. If it's sticking to my teeth, though, I am not happy. I don't like that. Okay, so this is getting there. Now, I don't like my risotto to look like a big old piece of tar, okay? I want a little flow. It's supposed to be a porridge. So I'm going to go ahead and start working in more liquid to this. I feel that my rice is done. Let me go ahead and give that another check. We're tasting. Wow. That spiced rice is so good. I am going to pretend that it needs a little salt, but it's really very nice and simple. The other accompaniment here, the lamb, is going to be a little bit on the salty side too. So I don't want this to be really, really big. So this is just spiced rice. It's really cool. I am definitely doing this again. It tastes just like the steamed rice version of this. It's just got a little more of that body from the broth and everything. It's really good. I'm liking that. Okay, so let me see. I've got a risotto. We're going to just give that another little finish in a second here. I'm going to kick that off to the side. I've got my meat. I need to finish up my salad, and I have one more thing for my plate, and I'll do a little plate for you guys and show you what I usually do with risotto. Let me see. One thing I wanted, where I put it. I got a little Greek yogurt, and so I'm just going to put a little dollop of yogurt on this since it's kind of a Moroccan deal here. So let me get that out and ready. Whoa, bummer. Bad chef. Okay, got a little yogurt here. And when I do the yogurt, I just kind of stir it up to break the culture. I'm doing a little fryer. My wife likes the fat-free, so that's what we got. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and plate in a ramen bowl. And I'm going to stick it in my oven, which is still warm. Yes. I'm going to let that warm, and I want to keep working a little more broth into my risotto. I'm still not liking it. It still doesn't look like a porridge. So let me get a little more moisture in there. A little more moisture. There it goes. Now it's flowing a little bit. I'm going to add even more moisture. Because again, I don't want this just to be a big old glob of risotto. I want a little flow. Come on, man. Flow for me, baby. There we go. That's more like it. So there's my risotto flow. If I drag a spoon through it, it just kind of starts flowing back together. It's like hot lava. That's the idea. That's about where I like my polenta too. Okay, let me get my bowl out. And we want to plate on a clean surface here. So I'm wiping this down. I don't want dirt on the underside of my bowl. Set it down onto a white tablecloth and then clear it for a course. And then you got dirt on the table. Always plating in a clean place. Let me get my hot bowl. That's pretty warm. And I'm going to go ahead and plate a little bit of my risotto. And here we go. I have that big spoon there. Where is it? I left it right there. This will be a good spoon for plating. I've turned off my risotto. I checked the seasoning on this, and I thought it was just fine. I don't want to season it at all. I'm just putting in about a spoon and a half in that bowl. Maybe a little more. So 2 full spoons approximately. Let me wipe that up. Okay. I've got my my lamb that's going down. So I'll just do a little dollop of that. I'm going to be eating this lamb for days. Slightly off center. and trying to get a little height out of it. Build her up. Build it up. Then I need to finish my salad real quick. So I have my salad sitting here. I want to just double check my seasoning again. It's fine, just like that. Nice acidity to it, just a slight sweet. I didn't want it overly sweet. So in this bowl, I have carrot tops. A little bit of a bitter in this dish is going to be nice because I've got a lot of sweet going on, right? My dressing in here is slightly sweet. Also, some whole cilantro leaves are going in. Bunch of whole cilantro leaves. So I got some greens in this little salad too. And I'm going to go ahead and drop them all together. Get you in with it. Get you in on this. And I'll give that a few little tosses. I'll taste it. See if it needs a little crack of salt. But otherwise, I'm about ready to plate a little of this on my plate. Beautiful. Look at that. Looks like somebody's Instagram plate. Before I throw my salad down, let me do 1 dollop of yogurt on my lamb. I just use my finger. Don't fall, buddy. Bad chef. And then a little of this salad up in the corner. And I think we got us an entree. Make sure that you show off a few cherries. That's the money. I dropped a few cherries around the entire dish. Boom, boom. A couple of extra greens. And there you have it. I don't like where that cherry landed. Boom. I like that better. Get that. There we go. So that is what Mrs. Nelson is having for dinner tonight, okay? We've got the risotto there. We've got the Moroccan lamb shoulder with a little bit of yogurt to help cool it off, and then just a beautiful little root vegetable and stone fruit salad that, hey, it just kind of happened because that's what I wound up getting, okay, at the market, right? Whenever I go to the market, I don't really have a dish in mind. When I go to the market and I let the ingredients tell me what to make, okay? Let's see. So that's my plate today, okay? One little trick. I just remembered something I want to show you, okay? Now that risotto, it's going to kind of sit there. I feel like it kind of gloms up. What I usually do when I'm serving risotto, this is my little signature, I put a tiny little halo of broth around it, so it's still moist. And as the guest is eating it, that's what I'm talking about. Let me show you that. That's better. When the guest is eating it, they have that little broth working its way into the dish as they go, and it never gloms up on them as they're dining, okay? So I was talking about, this is just, it just came together with the stuff I had and the stuff I happened to find at the store, okay? I let the ingredients tell me what to make for dinner, not the other way around. It's never like, oh, I saw a great recipe I want to try or whatever. It's like, hey, what's good at the store? What looks awesome? That's what's going to speak to me, and that's what I want to cook. If you don't know me, my name's Dave Nelson. I do industry cooking classes. I am out there just trying to teach people how to cook in their own homes. I feel like it's a lost art, and I really feel like this stuff isn't rocket science. You don't see me measure anything. You don't see me do a heck of a lot of thinking. I'm just kind of rolling through this stuff, and hopefully you just kind of pick up little tips here and there as we roll through these things. I have probably got, I think this is my 13th video that I'm going to have with cooking lessons in it, okay? I'm basically rocking through culinary school, the same culinary school I teach every day at my day job back in the old world, okay? I work in Sacramento at a small community college, and I work at a local corrections facility teaching culinary arts as well, and I just, again, do it on the side, just trying to get it out there to the people. I just feel cooking's so simple. Let's get it back in our lives, okay? Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Go over to YouTube, check me out, and subscribe to that channel. I'm trying to build a following over there so I can start making something out of this and actually getting paid and start developing it a little bit more, and maybe getting an editor or something like that to help me out with the tech side, okay? So get over there and follow. check out Industry Cooking Classes. Last thing I want to talk about before I sign off is this Wednesday, I'm doing another television show, fake television show called Between Two Stoves. I'm doing an interview program. This Wednesday, I'm going to have Mr. Patricio Wise on the program. We're going to be doing just kind of a simulcast interview over the Facebook Live, and he's going to tell us all about making tacos in Sacramento and being just the Sacramento's coolest taco guy. So that's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday. So make sure you're around for that. That's going to be going off at 4 o'clock, just like my quarantine happy hour. Let's see. I think that's about it, guys. I just hope you're enjoying. Let's have another little toast before we go. I'm so glad we had this time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on these, guys. I hope you get something out of this stuff. I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope it gets you out of your headspace a little bit because, quite frankly, I go to a party, a fancy party or something like that. I always wind up in the kitchen because that's where the party is. Don't forget, guys, the party's always in the kitchen. Let's keep it live, and we will see you on Wednesday with Patricio Wise. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Bye-bye.